and Chelsea.
Here we are again this week with another video. We finally got around to doing an anonymous relationship Q&A video. Thank you to those of you guys who reached out to us on Twitter and Instagram, DMing us your personal stories and questions, and we're excited to answer some of them here in this video. Again, this is something we want to do more in the future, so please don't be afraid to DM us.
We don't always reply, but we saw you.
And remember, these questions are anonymous, so I'm just gonna be answering their questions. I'm not gonna shout anybody out. How do you ask if a girl is trying to be your friend or something more? I'm so confused with this girl I have been talking to. Maybe I should have clarified this is a long distance thing. Gosh, you gotta just be blunt. You gotta just say, I have feelings for you. What are we gonna do about it?
Totally. If you're long distance, there's no room to be tiptoeing around.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta be like, hey, I like you. Where do you stand?
Yeah.
Like, if it's long distance, you can't mess around.
And I have dated plenty of girls in the past who claim to like you one week, not sure the next week, constantly confused, throwing mixed vibes. So if that's what you're getting, and one week maybe she's saying, yeah, we're gonna be together, I love you, I need you, screw long distance, and the other week she's like, yeah, I just need my space. If you're feeling confused about it, that's when you just have to make the decision. If she's not gonna be straight up with you and honest about what she wants, or she doesn't know, you're gonna move on. Straight up.
How do you get over your ex-girlfriend who you gave everything up for? Not to be rude, but the only thing that can help you get over someone is time. It just takes time. Keep yourself busy, find hobbies, be with your friends and family a lot. Day by day, you'll start thinking about her less and less.
Don't date someone else to spite her or to get her out of your head. If you truly like someone else, fine, but
rebounds are totally fine.
She likes rebounds. I mean, I had to use a rebound when I got over her, but I hate rebounds, but I know you're about that life.
You know what? Maybe you need to jump in bed with someone else to realize you can get over the other one.
Life advice with Brooke and Chelsea.
Just kidding. I don't advise whorish behavior.
I'm currently dating a man who is bipolar. What advice can you give me on dating and understanding him? I watched your videos on YouTube, and you guys' relationship really gives me hope that we can work, so thank you. I mean, fortunately there's not much you can do. You know, it really is in his court. He has to have the willingness to want to open up about it and want to have a conversation about it. And of course you can always encourage him and tell him that, make him feel comfortable, make him feel safe, that he can confide in you, that you won't think he's crazy. Because if he's not opening up to you about it, it's probably because he doesn't want you to think he's crazy and not think of him as the same old guy that you've been in this relationship with.
Yeah, if he's not willing to talk about it right now, it's because of his own insecurities. Like Brooke said, the only thing you can do is really just reiterate over and over again that you're there to talk to. And maybe sometimes if he gets started but then starts to shut down, start asking probing questions. But not like you're, not like you're interrogating him, but more of just a genuine caring. What also helps is if you find some interesting articles online and just go, oh, hey, I saw this and thought of you, and shoot it his way via text or email or something. If anything, it'll be in his head. Maybe he'll want to open up and have a discussion about what you both read, and that's kind of what she used to do to me. This person had a two-parter, one for me, one for Brooke. Chelsea, what is the #1 thing you wish people knew / understood about mental health? So we'll answer this one first and then go to part 2. One thing I wish people understood was we can't help it. Just sometimes things happen and maybe instantly you realize what have happened and you want to be able to, apologize for it or whatever, but honestly, there are times when you just can't help it. And so I feel like people need to be a little bit more understanding, but I guess that goes along with the stigma. People don't really get it, and so it's really hard. So anybody out there, if you know anyone struggling with any kind of mental illness, just be patient, because whatever they're doing, they can't help it.
Brooke, what is one thing you want people who support and love someone with a mental illness to know? If you are someone who suffers from a mental illness, I think it's so important to me, and I wish more people in their immediate family or friend setting, or work setting, understood what they go through. And I say that in the sense of if Chelsea has friends and like there's months where she's hanging out with them every other week, and then there's a couple months where they don't hear from her. Obviously, you know, you want to check in and make sure that they're feeling fine, but also accepting that might be a thing. There might be a period where you don't see her for a couple of months, and you need to understand it's not because she doesn't want to see you, and it's not selfish of her to not be around you. Like, she needs a breather. She needs a break. She needs to function all day long, every day. So it's like, if she needs a couple of months to go to work and come home, go to work and come home, let that be the case. We put a lot of pressure on people with a mental illness. Not that they're not strong enough to handle it. Look, we all have to go through life, and Chelsea gets up every day at the end of the day. But I think people put a lot of pressure on people with mental illnesses without truly understanding what their triggers are, you don't know anything. What if you're pushing someone to go to the zoo and all you know is they have this traumatic experience with animals, and I don't know, like, you just never know. So you can't push someone to do something if you don't even understand what they're going through. How do you manage to still have a crush on the other person after being in a relationship for so long? I think you have to, look, you have to treat, like, just talking about it gives us butterflies, because it's like, we flirt with each other, like, we're always groping each other. You guys should just be in our apartment. It's just me grabbing at Chelsea grabbing at me, I'm flirting with her, she's flirting with me.
A lot of sexual harassment in this house.
It's a lot of sexual harassment in the house, and it's like, I don't know. That you gotta
put an effort to find the cute things, to find just little moments that
It's the moments. It's the little moments. It's the little looks you share. It's the little smiles I catch.
You have to learn to appreciate that if you want to keep that going, and I know I do.
I do too. So that's the answer.
That's the answer. I don't know. You just can't really make yourself have a crush on someone. It's like, you either do or you don't, you know?
I'm shy right now. Okay, we're moving on. That's that.
My girlfriend and I have been together just under a year. We had a really rocky start, but we're as good now as we've ever been. However, we don't really talk much, and a lot of the time we do separate things but in the same room. I really like how we can just enjoy each other's company without being attached at the hip, but I don't want to be that couple that ends up not even knowing each other. I have tried talking to her about it, but whenever I bring it up, my girlfriend responds as if I'm overreacting. Am I? What can I do to not worry about the distance that I feel? I know successful couples that say it's really healthy to be your own person and not rely on your partner, but I just find myself feeling lonely even if she's sitting right next to me, and it scares me. Any advice would be helpful. I literally went through this with my ex. It is the worst feeling, and for you, if you're watching and you sent this question and you've tried talking to her about it and she just says you're overreacting, at the end of the day, you're unhappy in that relationship. And no matter how much you love her or you feel attached to her, honestly, you have to do what's best for you and find someone who's gonna reciprocate that love, because you deserve it. You can't just sit there and feel alone when you're in your relationship. When you're in a relationship, it's like being with your best friend, and that's what it should be like. When you're in love, you should feel like that person is your best friend. And if that person is sitting in the same room with you and totally unwilling to even acknowledge you, they don't care. You just, I don't want to tell you to break up with them, but if you've talked about it and they're unwilling to see your side, there's no point in you being in that relationship anymore, because it's not even a relationship.
At the end of the day, like Chelsea said, like, your feelings are valid. If you're lonely, then they need to step up to the plate and do something about it. With Chelsea and I specifically, we mentioned this in our videos, and everybody in our immediate lives know this to be true. We do a lot of things together. And again, we spend like a lot of time apart during our work days, but we go to sleep at the same time, we eat at the same time, we watch our shows together. And I know it sounds cheesy, hearing that you're like, oh my god, how boring, how mundane. It's like, I appreciate those moments, because as the years go on and as life in different ways tries to tear you apart from your significant other, whether it's work, family, friends, whatever, those little moments continue to keep you guys together, and it keeps your foundation strong. Like, I'm sorry to be cheesy, but my grandparents have been married for over 60 years and they still do everything together, and it's like, that's longevity. That's how a relationship lasts.
And it's not about being like codependent, even though we are. It's just being able to enjoy being next to them.
Yeah, that too.
It's being able to enjoy just being on the couch, eating Ben & Jerry's, watching The Bachelor, and still having fun.
Also, even if we're doing different things, we don't mind sitting on the couch together. Like, Chelsea will be watching Teen Wolf and I'll be editing her videos. Like, we still feel connected because we're physically next to each other and we feel like we're experiencing the same thing even though we're experiencing two different things.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
Yeah, and there's like no problem with going out with your friends or, you know, doing brunch, whatever it is without your partner. You can totally do separate activities, but when you're together, you should be together.
Yeah.
You know, not just estranged in the same room. That sounds so miserable. And honestly, I know from experience, it is miserable and it's heartbreaking and it makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. And there's nothing wrong with you.
Well, this was really awesome. I love doing this. Thank you guys so much for sending in your questions. If you want to see more of these types of videos, please give it a big fat thumbs up. Please be sure to click the subscribe button. Please be sure to click the notification next to subscribe button. If there's anything else you guys want to see, please do so in the comments below. We're not shouting out a fan this week because we decided to anonymously shout out a lot of you guys, but we definitely will be continuing to shout people out in the future. So be sure to follow us on social media. I am OMG Brookberry.
And I am OMG Chelsea Berry.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye!
Bye!